What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 8th episode of Trench Talk. I'm here with just one co-host today, NRV, and then we have a very special guest today, WooPig. How are you doing today, WooPig?
Never been better. Thanks for having me on.
Love to hear it. NRV, how are you doing?
Doing well, man. Had a busy day. I got roped into a Twitter space today that ended up lasting 2 hours. So I guess I'm used to speaking for this pod. And, yeah, man, I remember back when we did our first episode, we were talking about the differences in our trading styles. And you and LTR were just grinding on Solana like crazy. And I was like, yeah, I haven't had a ton of success. Haven't been messing around there too much. I'm mostly just ETH, base, L2, EVM, maxi. But I hit like one of my biggest wins on Solana ever this week. I hit the Daddy Take coin. Looks like I'll clear about 200K. If I held longer, maybe 600. But yeah, big win for me, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear that.
I'm a sole trader now.
You can buy me some new golf clubs.
Yeah.
I'm going to be requesting that from you since you're up.
All right, let me know when the birthday is.
December. It has been a little bit of a long week for me. I had a really good day Tuesday with the Ansem versus Tate stuff that came out. I kind of cooked on that, so that really kind of got me out of the slight little hole I've been having. It's not really a hole. I haven't been losing money. I just haven't been making money, and I missed Daddy on Saturday, the Daddy Take coin, so it was aggravating. But anyways, I guess we'll go ahead and dive right into it, and we'll just start with WooPig. Would you like to just kind of give a little background about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So, started crypto, I think, in 2017 or so. Was in college and don't really remember how exactly I saw it, but I remember crammed for finals and seeing XRP at like 25 cents and thinking, wow, this is the future of finance. I got to go buy it. And in like the 2 days it took me to figure out how to set up an exchange, get money over there, and get it all loaded to go. It had like tripled to 75 cents or something. So I got in at the 2017 top and just kind of messed around, was playing Fortnite at the time. And every night I was sitting there playing Fortnite, refreshing my portfolio as fast as I could. And I think I turned like 500 to $500 to maybe 4,000 and thought I was a genius. And after that, just kind of 2017 top and just basically became a community member for 2 years until 2020 rolled around. And so thankfully there was like a coin that was called Kin at the time that I just really believed in, thought it was just going to change the world and I'd make millions of dollars off of it. And so over those 2 years, kind of just believing and bag holding that kept me interested in crypto enough to survive until the kind of the start of Uniswap in summer 2020. And after that rolled around, just kind of figured out, first coin was Zamp or whatever that Bill Drummond coined. And after that, just kind of saw that there was a lot of money to be made. So I just sat in the office and it was COVID, but they made us go in for whatever reason. So we were one of like 5 people in there. So me and my coworker just stared at Uniswap new pairs the whole day and just, grinded that, just kept grinding and just kind of stuck with it. And yeah, from there, just kind of the love for shitcoining just really kind of took on. There's nothing like it. Just the feeling of competing and kind of like just grinding as hard as you can and making it out big with those big wins. So yeah, 2021 just kind of did the same thing. BSC grind, Solana grind, till eventually just got super. I think I had 90% of my portfolio in just horrible coins at the top of the 2021 May and retraced 90%, and then had to rebuild it up. I think I had some big NFT wins, surprisingly, like that the historical NFT kind of run where I hit a couple like 2,000 X's just minting out old shit from 2017 that really kind of got me back in the game, and then survived until 2022, just kind of did nothing in the bear market, and then just started hitting shit coins hard again and after Pepe. So since then, just been staring at new deploys, staring at wand alerts, just trying to absorb everything and be everywhere that I can at once. So it's been quite the journey, but it's been fun. So wouldn't change it for anything.
That's crazy, man. You've had a very different journey than both of us, and also like even some of the other like impressive guests that we've had on before. I got into it, the space through NFTs back in like 2021, but you've seen like everything. I mean, I actually touched crypto in like 16, 17. I was doing the ICO craze stuff, but I didn't really stick with it during the down years too much. I got back into it through NFTs and whatnot. But for you to go through all that, you must have seen like a lot of different tech and whatnot come out. And obviously it's been crazy this year with Telegram bots and all the other tools that have come out.
Yeah, and so it was fun. Like, those summer 2020 days, you're really kind of on the front end of like shitcoin tech. There's like all sorts of Ponzi's being invented every kind of new day. You're like, oh wow, this is the first replace coin. This is kind of cool new tech. And then there's like the first like stable dollar era and anything along those lines. I felt like every kind of couple weeks there was this new Ponzi style investment that was coming out, which you kind of in the recency times has kind of been, we've kind of gone away from that. Like shitcoin innovation has stopped to some extent, which is kind of sounds weird to say. It's like I'm trading the same animal coins all day. And there's nothing super exciting, but yeah, it's been cool kind of seeing the evolution of shitcoining from front row seat.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has been done and repeated at this point. Obviously, even if there's like a good utility related coin that comes out right now, a lot of people don't care about it because we're kind of in this meme coin super cycle. I wanted to ask you, like earlier on when you were trading, and maybe it was like in the time when Uniswap came out, you guys were grinding that. Like, are there any like massive wins that stuck out to you that kind of helped build your portfolio and kick off the whole journey?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I started with I think it was $1,000 in end of July 2020, and I just kind of had small wins. I ended up getting it to like $7,000 until I had like, and I knew it was close to because I was like, I just need to keep grinding because there was a couple times I fumbled like high 5-figure, low 6-figure bags. Like, man, I'm like, I really just got to keep going at this because I know I'll hit one big. And eventually, it was like maybe a month and a half later, there's this one coin that it was like some like caller at the time had a big general chat. His name was like Crypto 94 or something that people would hang out in. And some guy messaged said, "Hey, I'm launching a coin in tomorrow. Like, feel free to join the TG," because that's kind of like how casual it was back then. And so a couple of us joined it, and he posted the contract address. And so the way like I would operate back then was just just filter through the MetaMask like prompts as fast as I can, and just hit everything, just smash fast gas, slippage 49. And just see what happens, because there wasn't too much like MEV and stuff going on then. So I ended up grabbing like 7% of that coin or something like that, and it was like a 2000x at the top. But at my first night, I pulled like I think $35,000 down, and was riding like another 65. So on the way home, I grabbed a 12-pack of I think Natter Days, and just smashed them all that night on a Wednesday night. And so that first feeling of that big win,
Beautiful.
I was like, I know it's coming. I'm grabbing my 12-pack. I'm gonna play Fortnite all night, and I'm just gonna hit it hard. And so rolled into work the next day like 2 hours late, but it was worth it. It was a good time. So just kept grinding for that big win, and that's what kind of set the rest of it off. Because once you kind of get that starting payroll, you're not trying to like flip the 2x gains every time. So that first big win really just kind of set the ball in motion for the rest of my shitcoin career, I guess you'd call it.
Did you quit your job shortly after that, or did it like take a few more wins?
No, I'm still working at my job actually, just
No way.
because. Yeah, it's easy. Like it's work from home a lot of days, and I think I work maybe an actual 10 hours a week, and I shitcoin the rest of the time. So it's an easy paycheck, and I have insurance. So
Yeah, insurance is nice, dude.
I was gonna say you're chronically online for having a job, but also I mean you have a kid. That's completely understandable. My current partner is like, yeah, you're not gonna sit at home trading shitcoins all day. You're not gonna do that. And I was like, it makes good money though, and she's like, no. I was like, okay. It probably didn't help for her when she saw my portfolio go down 90% in like 2 months in 2021. That wasn't very appealing to her.
Yeah,
at all.
that's it. My strategy. So my strategy has just been ignore the numbers as best I can. Say it's going well, it's going bad. No specifics, So kind of just keep it as low key as I can.
That's prob best. NRV, do you have a do you have a first celebration moment in crypto?
Gosh. Not Not really, like nothing crazy. I mean, I've always like had this idea in mind that when the market's doing well, I just have to like keep grinding no matter how big of a win that I get, because I don't have like the full ridiculous bag of like financial freedom that I really want to have. It's like I've seen people take vacations during this cycle right now, even though the market's insanely hot, and like, yeah, congrats, do that. Like, it is good to take time away and like kind of reset your mental a bit, but I don't want to miss anything. So, I mean, I paid for a wedding, my buddy's wedding last year. I went to Portugal. My celebratory stuff that kind of helps me reset my mental is just golfing a lot. I love to golf. I'm not an amazing player. I shoot like mid to high 80s on a good day, but yeah, I haven't really like balled out and celebrated on anything yet. I will soon. I want to buy a house in cash, and that's definitely a goal of mine, but I haven't done it yet. I have certain numbers and goals in mind, but I'm just grinding, man. And I think that's a good way to be. Like, I don't think anybody should celebrate in a crazy way financially, like in an irresponsible way, unless you've really made a ton. But obviously, everybody's situation is different, and they can make their own decisions. Do you have one?
Yeah, so like the kid that bought 2 Supras with the 90K net worth.
That's you?
Probably wasn't the most. Yeah, that was me. I'm just kidding.
Dude.
So you pay for a buddy's wedding. You going to? I got a probably.
I didn't pay for his wedding.
Probably like 45K. You got me. 45K. You got me.
Oh my god. No. I'm not here paying for people's wedding. But dude, if you want to invite me, I'll go to it wherever it is.
Hey, that might be on the table. But yeah, I totally did not cash a Tesla Model 3 when I had about 80K. I totally didn't do that.
That's fire.
I totally did not do that.
I support that, dude.
Yeah, that was a fun car. I actually just sold it recently last year. It was fun. It was a fun purchase. I was also 21 at the time. I did not give a shit. I was on my huge ego, and everyone around me, because I was serving at the time, was like pretty broke, and I was just like absolutely cooking, like just through like random NFT whitelists and mints and stuff. So I felt like a baller. I felt like above everyone. Probably wasn't the smartest.
I mean, I've done golf clubs, clothes, shoes, stuff like that, but nothing crazy. I know a lot of people that I'm close to, they'll buy pretty damn expensive watches, which I think is a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's pretty smart if you're looking to offload your crypto into cash at some point, because a lot of watches like retain their value and some actually increase in value, but it's hard to like offload crypto directly into your bank in large amounts, and in many cases, depending on what country or whatever you're in. So I know a lot of people do that. For me personally, I don't really need an expensive watch, but I know a lot of people that do that. I don't know. Have you celebrated with more than a 12-pack WooPig?
No, not really. I just paid for cars in cash, and then we're looking at new houses, so we're gonna probably try and do that in cash if we can, if it's reasonable. Besides, I got one $6,000 Rolex. I balled out, so went crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think I'll ever wear it. Maybe not in public, because I don't really tell, like, none of my like real life friends really know that I do crypto, so I don't really want to like flash it too hard. So I just tell them all. They'll ask like, "Hey, how's crypto going?" Because I knew did it a couple years ago, and I'd be like, "Yeah, it's going well." And so I'm trying to stay as like low key as possible. So we'll see if it ever breaks it out the safe.
All of my friends in real life know that I do crypto. Sometimes I think it's like bad because I spend so much time doing this crap. So like I go out to a social event, like I'm going to a brewery on Saturday for my buddy's birthday. Like this whole week, all I've been doing is crypto. Like, yeah, I research and I'm up to date with like current events and news, but there's no way I'm not going to talk about something that's going on with crypto there. They're also going to lean on me for what's going on with the markets and whatnot.
Let me tell you my scenario. This will make y'all laugh. I am in a very small southern Texas town. Everyone here works some sort of hard labor or plant job, so I'm like the needle in the haystack. Yeah, there's no talks about crypto going around. I had one individual that he doesn't know I have money. No one knows I have money other than like my girlfriend, but he saw that I was able to buy a car in cash, and he asked me like about some crypto advice. This man put in $50.
Gotta start somewhere.
Crazy.
I thought you were gonna say he asked you for drugs. I thought you were a drug dealer or something.
I'll probably keep when we start talking about this in the pod. So, we're talking about the pod. But Like, I genuinely think people did not know exactly what I do. Like, I like my girlfriend's like parents, you know, they saw that I lived by myself and paid bills and stuff, so they never really questioned it. The mom would always kind of randomly like throw a question out there to try to get me to explain things. I would have to like obviously try to relate it to like a traditional like financial instrument like a stock or something. I was like, yeah, I attempt to trade stocks. I couldn't, and it was hard to explain to like a normal person without yapping my ass off for like a solid 15, 20 minutes, right? So, you know, they could have honestly thought I was selling drugs at one point. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I spent, going back to what I did, I spent about a solid hour to 2 hours with this man discussing, you know, over crypto stuff. This man put in $50. Keep in mind, he put like a couple thousand into like a bunch of different random mutual funds. So it was, I don't know, that was like the biggest like fuck you I've ever seen straight to my face. Like just no confidence at all, which is fine. You know, it's fine. They'll buy higher. They'll buy the Celeb pump fund coin. It's okay.
I talked to my friends about it, about crypto, and like I said earlier, they know what I do, and I'll share like some of the big wins that I have with them, but I'll also even share some of the losses. Like in this space, you have to get used to taking some big swings in both directions. Like I hit a cold streak a couple weeks ago. I think I was down like almost 20 to 30K in a week span, and then you know this week I'm up. Well, I hit a big trade on some Roaring Kitty GME crap. So like the past week and a half, I'm up like probably I don't know like 300K or something. But big swings, I'll probably lose 50K next week. Who knows? So people that I'm close with in my real life, they're like, okay, how do I get involved with this? How can I do it? I was like, well, first of all, you have to have a decent bankroll that you're willing to risk. Like starting with such a small bag not only makes it difficult, but it also makes it stressful. And I don't want to manage anybody else's money. They're like, well, what if I give you $5,000? What if I give you 10 grand? Can you trade it for me? And I was like, you know what? I don't want that responsibility. Then they'll be like, okay, can you tell me what to buy? And I'll buy it. I'm like, no, I've done that before, because then I tell you to buy something, then people are asking me, hey, what's going on with this coin? What's going on with that coin? What's the update? What's Twitter saying? It's just too much. It's too hard to like handhold people into it. They're better off getting like the instructions on like where to start, what tools to use, and start risking their own money so that they can start to learn.
Let me tell you exactly what I did, because I have been in that scenario. So I'll just relate this back to when I was selling shoes. And I was making, you know, I would make like a couple thousand on like a random like easy drop at the time. It was during COVID shoes, so it was actually profitable. And someone asked me, you know, how are you doing this? And I realized real quick, and I was like, okay, I'm wasting time trying to explain it to someone. So what I would do is if they had their, you know, own intelligence and own drive to be able to actually do this, I would send them this like 3 video, 1 hour each, really in detail about sneaker botting, and I would send them that, and I'm like, all right, listen to this, let me know if you have any questions. I would never get a response after that. They wouldn't watch the video. They wouldn't care. People just want to be handheld stuff and just like be given free money. Like it's not how it works.
Yeah.
Like I have a buddy that, you know, works a traditional job, and he'll just be like, so what crypto group can I join to basically make free money? And I'm just like, I will say, I'm saying all this shit, but it was probably much easier to make money when I joined crypto in 2021. You could just grind and talk in a chat and be given a whitelist and make free money. So
yeah, that's true.
It was probably a lot easier for me, so I probably shouldn't yap too much, you know? But I mean, I obviously had wins like watching like mint monitors and stuff and like tracking Mev Collector's wallet and just buying whatever he bought. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. You'll meet people that will be interested in the work you do, and 98% of them just like they just won't put in their own work, and that's their issue.
Yeah, I feel like there are good communities that people can get into. Like obviously some take applications, some are paid. There's definitely good paid groups out there. There's not many. There's like a few that I think are good to get like normie friends into, so to speak. I think that's like a good way to start. But I do think we should pivot back to WooPig a bit. And this is probably like a good segue to that. WooPig, I know you're with OzDAO. I'm not familiar with that myself, but I think it's like super important to not be like a lone wolf in this space and like be able to trade with a group of people, have like a hive mind of people that are seeing things, studying deployments or researching crap that's coming up on chain, whether it's new protocols, new token drops, somebody tweeting the XYZ, like whatever it is. For me, in my journey, it's been Hideout, but I've branched out into other groups. I spend a lot of time in Vanquish these days and some smaller FNFs, but where are you spending most of your time and what can you tell us about OzDAO?
Yeah, so I'm in a few different groups. I try and like, be as friendly as that possible and not trying to burn bridges because I feel like crypto is not as PvP as people think, like you and your friends can do well and, like if I can help someone out and I can be nice to someone, like you never know, like kind of what's going to come around back to you. So I kind of hang around in a lot of places, but I think OzDAO was like kind of my first group that I really kind of found a home in and kind of calling, I guess. Because before that, there was a kind of a different group that I grinded with, but a lot of them just kind of fell off whenever the bear market hit, or kind of didn't really buy back into it, and kind of just waited for the good times to come around. And so whenever OzDAO kind of came about, their their kind of tech was just focused on like, and it was like Twitter scraping and of like the best capabilities. And so I've hung around them for almost, I guess it's about 2 years at this point. And so like all their devs are, a couple of them are like just PhD data science guys, master's data science guys, people who have been in the space for years, building this for years. And so kind of like that group and grinding together with that group and the first wins we had kind of really solidified that like that like grinding in cryptos and with the group's the way to do it. Like because before I was pretty much to an extent by myself, kind of grinding the new contracts, looking at new pairs and stuff like that. But with OzDAO and then now kind of segueing into like Wand, which is kind of like my biggest tool that I use, my only tool that I use. I kind of spend a lot of time just focusing on that in ways that kind of OzDAO tech, Wand tech kind of sets up for alpha in ways that like no other tool in the space does, because I think they provide a really unique insight that, staring at like how many fresh wallets are buying this coin or whatever, that can't give to you.
Can
So
I ask you a question about that? I
yeah.
want to get more into Wanbot too.
Hmm.
So like for me, like the groups that I mentioned, like Hideout and Vanquish, that I spend most of
Yeah.
my time in, there's really no like custom tech that's been built within there by devs. Like, yeah, we use certain Discord bots and whatnot, but it sounds
Hmm.
like you've had devs in OzDAO that built some type of custom tech in there, maybe prior to easy contract deployment monitors that give info. Like maybe you guys built something like that. Like, what did the devs in there build that you found valuable? And then I guess like what else does Wand offer? I've never used Wand. I've seen
Hmm.
pictures. I have like a decent idea of what it does, but like what kind of stuff was built in OzDAO, and like what are you getting out of Wand that you think is better than other tools or other tech?
Yeah, so there's kind of two sides to it. Like Wand and OzDAO are kind of the same side of the coin. Like they're two different things, but they're the same thing to some extent because I look at Oz as focusing on like new projects coming up, like stuff along those lines, like future looking projects, where Wand is more focused on like on chain stuff, what's happening right now. And I see Wand as being super valuable because I think it kind of looks at like the social side of the coin. And I think in crypto, like the social velocity of the coin is something that's super important to me because if no one's talking about it on social media, no one's interacting with the coin on it, and it's just a bunch of people sitting on Telegram staring at it, I think it's tough to reach that exit velocity of, kind of hitting that, breaking that 100K ceiling, hitting 1 million, 10 million, and stuff like that. And so Juan provides insight to where, like, I kind of trying to look for situations that I would consider an anomaly, like, uh, to where, like, my first big one with it, whenever that NFT Nick guy, if that's his name, Choose Rich, if that's
Yep,
rings a
you got it
bell,
right.
yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
so where I really kind of realized that Oz provided you a huge edge that, like, no other on chain tool does is that, like, there was, like, Choose Rich was popping off everywhere. Everyone was making fun of the guy on Twitter, and so I was like picked up that there was a new coin with it was called like Choose Rich Nick or something like that, and it had detected that the Nick guy had followed it at 80K market cap, and so that was like a huge signal to me. I was like, okay, this guy is by a follow somewhat endorsing the coin, and he kind of seemed like big head narcissist type, like kind of trying to blow up his brand. So a coin blowing up in his favor would be like the biggest thing that he could do for himself at the time. So him following his coin at 80K was like a huge signal to me. And so I think I chipped in with like 30 ETH or not 30 ETH, sorry, 30 SOL at, 100K with a 40% price impact and grabbed like 4% of the supply. And from there, I just kind of started studying those like social situations that really kind of propel a coin to the next level that like you're not going to get from strictly on-chain information. So like the social side.
Is it scraping Twitter for common words being used? Like, does it have preloaded, users from CT into it and kind of scraping common words or phrases that are being used and like aggregating that information, like to see like what a trend is, so to speak?
Yeah, to some extent. And it's basically like the way I see it, it kind of sees everything and it scores everything. So like I have a score, you have a score, bots have a score of 0, obviously. But like um it kind of like it picks up, it can see like when the new contract was deployed, it matches it with the socials and then it tracks the new activity. I think like for the first hour, every minute it checks the new coin social activity. So it picks up like any new followers. And it used to do likes, but then there was that Twitter change like this week that blocked Twitter like access from being viewed.
Yeah, that just
Um,
happened like a couple days ago.
yeah, so it was interesting seeing what people liked. So that's what I kind of use it because it basically I see it as it sees the social side of everything on chain. And so a lot of people look at it as like, oh, Wand has so many calls. Like, it had 100 calls today, but some of the coins, like, went to 0 a lot of the time. But I think people look at it with the wrong framework in
I
terms
would
of,
agree with that.
yeah, so it's like, people are like, oh, it called it at 100K and it topped at 150K. And you're like, well, it
You're not
sees
supposed to buy
everything.
it, everything it calls. Like, I mean, I haven't
Hmm.
even used it, but like, it's the idea of like, I don't know, I follow a ton of Telegram callers, and I
Hmm.
almost never buy anything that they call. I'm mostly like looking to see where attention and volume is going to move to. But if a
Yep.
call is like really interesting or the tech seems cool or new, like, yeah, maybe I'll buy that. Like, you have to be able to sift through the noise on your own, be able to see patterns or recognize when something is actually worth it. So yeah, there's probably not going to always be a high percentage call in there, but if you're using it
Hmm.
long enough, you're probably going to see some extremely good information and know like when to execute or take action. So
Yeah.
like what I guess two questions. Like obviously it sounds like there's a community in there. I don't know how many people hold this, but you sound like you grind in there and probably talk to people in there too. What does the community look like, and also like how do you get access to it? What does it cost?
So the community's good. It's like everyone's pretty active. Everyone hangs out and they'll like forward calls every once in a while, and it's a really good like shitpost group. Like I think the whole time, everyone just sends the gambling spam. Everyone's pit slots all day and just sends 20 gifts, and so it's a good time in there, and it's a good community. So I think it's like 75,000 won to get in right now, which is let's see, I have the chart up right now. Oh, I guess I can't see it because they migrated. I don't know. It's maybe like an ETH right now.
Did
So,
they
and
migrate to base?
yeah, so they migrated to
I
base.
think it's around there. I
I'm
think
checking
it's
right
around
now.
there.
75,000.
But I'll yeah, dude, Wanda's sick.
Yeah, if you've used it,
It is
Anon,
sick.
what's your
Yeah,
experience been like?
I've used it. I mean, WooPig kept sharing like so many gems from it. I was like, okay, I have to buy in. Like I'm just losing money not using it at this point. I'd rather just buy it than make money. But
Yeah, it's like 0.78 right now.
so
ETH.
I also use a Twitter tracker from Money Wizards. So that's what the main reason why I never really got into it. 'Cause I was like, I already track Twitters. But I mean, so for Moni, it's just like I'm just tracking the usual suspects, the people that are usually early in alpha to things. or the same coals that make a coin every week, So that's like the main stuff I'm tracking on there. But the cool thing about Wand is like kind of tracks everyone and gives everyone a score. So you'll have those weird instances like the Rich the Nick coin, or like I think it was like last week, like some like DeFi protocol made a freaking Solana pump fund.
Oh yeah.
So it was like you and it does. I really don't know how to explain it, but it gives everyone a score, and when you're looking at it, you'll just like kind of know when to be like, oh, that's a high score. I should look into that. Like seeing someone follow. I think he had like a 400 something score, which was like way higher than most. So just kind of just paying attention to those alerts, it's been really, really profitable for me, and I definitely recommend if you have like the on-side capital to add it to your artillery.
All right, I'm buying this shit right now.
There you go.
I'll see you in the Wand community.
Yep. Honestly, that's what the wine one. That was so funny because it was like I think it picked it up at like maybe like 100K or something like that. And I saw the green scores on it, and I just fired it immediately. I think I did like 25 SOL, and I think at the top it was like I got it like 100K, and I think within 30 minutes it topped like 5 million or something. So I was like 25 SOL to I think the highest I refreshed my bonk bot was about like 120K or something like that.
Jesus.
In just like 30 minutes. So it's like, granted, I only cashed out. It was like 30K of it because I think I was driving home from work or something. I was like, damn, I missed that top. But
are you mostly using BonkBot? And I imagine like WandBot
He's a
like
bonk
hot
bot
links into Bonk. You can just click right into it.
Yeah, so they have that. I'm a BonkBot maximalist. So
tell us why. I'm curious. I've used it plenty, but I think everybody uses their own bots. I'm a big proponent of like trying every bot available to figure out what's best, but I don't meet a ton of BonkBot maxis these days.
it's just unreliable, It was the first one I used, and it was horrible the first weeks when everyone's using it. But it's kind of just like falling off the radar, and it's kind of like just like a core group of people using it, I feel like. And I like my wallet on there, so I have a good .sol name, and I'm just kind of too lazy to export it anywhere. So I'm kind of just trying to run it up on that wallet for fun, and BonkBot has always been good to me. So it's just kind of just stuck around with it, and Banana never seems to work. Trojan was always a little bit laggy. I kind of use Soul Trading Bot to snipe a little bit. But people say you get drained on there, but I'm still kind of risking it.
That is correct.
Because the snipes are still hitting, so I'm risking it with a little bit of money.
It does seem like these bots like get too much traffic on them and start to lose performance a lot. Like there's been issues with Photon lately. Even when like Bonk was like not doing so well, and people had moved to Banana was not doing well. Like people were, I like to sit in voice chat a lot during the day because like you could just see things as a group much quicker. I remember like a couple of my buddies were in a big trade and they were up a lot, and then it just started tanking, and they literally could not sell through Banana. They're like, it's not selling. I can't sell. My prio's up. My slippage is up. I can't sell. But some of us had moved to Maestro when they did their promotional thing on Solana, when they had launched their Soul support, where they're like, if you pay for Maestro Premium or Pro, whatever the hell they call it, you pay 0 fees on your trade, so you can trade in size with no fees. And it was like smooth sailing because nobody was using that shit.
Okay, yeah, but I'm pretty sure they didn't have an anti-mev, and I got wrecked on that multiple times.
Probably.
So I will say, though, I'll just go and drop this alpha. I don't care, 'cause I've been testing it. Maestro sniping on Souls Act, they just released it. It's pretty quick. It is pretty good. Like, WooPig, I ditched Soul Trading. The Maestro one's actually hella clean.
Cool.
But, yeah, I remember early Soul when I was trying to find everyone's wallets in Picnic DAO, shout out Picnic DAO. And I saw WooPig post something, so I go look and buy something. And I saw your .sol. I was like, "Yep, that's him."
Yeah, it's
I
funny.
found his ass.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like another kind of just It's funny because Elsa, it's madapes.sol. Because I think like I can tell there's already copy traders that pile in after me. And so it's funny because I'll like join the TGs and you'll see like a bunch of Jeets being like, "Oh my god, Mad Apes just bought Mad Apes Call Soon," and so it's kind of funny because it has like its own like pump ability in that sense. But
Yeah, I was gonna say like
Yeah, so
it's not
it's
that's
funny.
that's not the kind of dot sol that you would want to be hiding. I think you would want people to be tracking that because they would think
Yeah,
it's from Mad Apes.
Matt
yeah,
Apes is in,
exactly,
baby. Let's
Oh my
go.
God, Mad Apes just
exactly.
dumped on our heads.
And so it's fun, I don't really, I've never really too cared too much if like people copy trade me. Like I know, because I'd never have had like too big a following. Because I know like Rec and people talk about how it messes up their entries, but I'm like, I'm just kind of slinging like 5 or 10 soul at like a 50K market cap coin. It's not like I'm doing anything too crazy. So if people want to tag along, more power to them. I'll just try not to dump on their heads too much because I change my mind a lot and it's never intentional. So if I've dumped on you, then I'm sorry about that. But it's just kind of sometimes getting information just
Getting
got to get out quick. Sorry, copy traders.
getting dumped on is a rite of passage.
That's true.
It's just
What do you
it's the game of Crash.
what do you think about like the current cycle that we're in? Like obviously it's very different from past cycles, but there are also similarities. But like this ETF stuff that's been happening, and like we don't love to talk about macro level shit on this podcast. We're like more on chain in the trench type people, but you can't ignore that stuff. So like
Hmm.
a lot of people see celebrity coins, they try to call the top, but the ETH ETF approval thing is there, but the ETFs haven't even launched yet. So like what do you think about this cycle compared to others, and like how long is this going to last, if you're even willing to guess that?
Yeah, being in crypto for a while, I've kind of accepted what my strengths and weaknesses are, and I know to stay away from leverage trading and to take each day day by day, not trying to focus
Yeah.
too much. If I'm bullish, I'll take my wins into Sol or ETH. And if I'm a little bit bearish, I'll just take it to USDC. And so that's the extent of stuff I kind of go. I'd like it for it to go up. But, trying to play forecaster and kind of say, ETH is going to be 10x in 2 years because of the ETF or anything, I know the bulk of my gains are going to come from grinding it out day by day on chain, and it's not going to be from like swinging huge spot trades over time or um, hitting 100x leverage trades. So I try and just stick to my strengths, and I think that um, just try and take it slow and stick to what I'm good at, and just play the slow spot game because it's all about survival for me. I did that minus 90% just playing shitcoins before, so I'm probably more conservative than most. I try and keep like 50% of my net worth in cash and 40% of it in Sol and ETH, um, maybe a little bit BTC and the rest in shitcoin. So just kind of slow grind it up. I don't see the need to make it all in one trade, but I love for super cycle. Shout out Suzu, but that's just above my pay grade to talk about anything after tomorrow.
Yeah, I love that.
No, that's totally agreeable. That is a very key thing to know. Pick what you're good at. Okay, like if I could look back at myself, absolutely no knowledge, 2021 and on, trying to make very good guesses about the current economic cycle. Yeah, 2021 didn't know shit. He was looking at the Bored Apes tweeting "Wag me" and thought we were going to 10,000 ETH, and then I think it was May. I think ETH went from like 3,000 to like 1,500 on like a week on like Memorial Day weekend. I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, that wasn't fun. There was no more Wag me going on from the Bored Apes, and I learned very quick there that you gotta just be good at what you're good at. All right, you know. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah.
But anyways,
We
look,
were talking.
we got
I was going to ask something else. We were talking earlier about like a coin that you and I were in a long time ago. WooPig. This is like before we started recording, but
Hmm.
I think like I'm curious because like when I see like a play just kind of die out, more often than not, I'm just cutting losses and moving on. Like I'm just dumping all of it. Are you holding like any dead bags? Like whether it's like I don't know, like a mist coin or that AA coin, like any like relics or just stuff that you believe in that may come back at some point? Like do you hold stuff that's just like dead in case it does come back?
Let me pull up Zerion real quick and I'll let you know. So, no, not really. I try and like rotate out of stuff pretty quickly, unless it's just like straight to zero. And if it's like 0.01 ETH, I won't hold it because you never know. But for the most part, I usually try and sell and move on pretty quickly because if the trade's not going my way, I'll just try and get out as fast as I can because I'm not
Yeah.
trying to like play the long game too much. But you never know. Like sometimes coins will revive. Like I think uh, Leroy arrived a couple days ago, so that was nice. I think I bought like zero point 0.5 ETH of that down at the bottom just for fun, like 1% of it, and
Damn, that went to
it's
like over
yeah,
8 mil.
yeah. So now it's like up to 8 million. So that was kind of cool, just out of nowhere.
That's sick.
But yeah, so sometimes I'll hold the coins, sometimes not. But for me, it's usually a game of like kind of quick rotations because like I don't know who said it first. It's just kind of like a knife fight in the trenches. You don't want to get caught with your pants down. So if it starts not going my way, I'll just
Yeah.
try to get out as fast as I can.
Have you hit any massive
Yeah.
wins this year on ETH based Soul that like stand out to you? Like there's been some like Pwn Lord was on here. I think
Mm-hmm.
he was our first guest like a couple episodes in. He was talking about Slurf as like a kingmaker trade just with the setup and how it was with the amount of lick and no tokens at to the pre-sale people completely
Yeah.
burned. Are there anything like any specific trades that stick out to you?
No, not particularly. I mean, it'll be Juan wins probably just to show it one more time while I'm here. But I think some of my favorite wins have just been stuff off that, where it's like you see someone follow a token and then instantly you're like, okay, um, like yeah, this is gonna go up. And I think I've done a bad job of also bad American time. I think like the three huge Solana Mooners all launched at like 3 a.m. and I happened to be up with the kid at like 2 a.m. and fell asleep 30 minutes before each launch. So that was unfortunate. But I think those big wins like that. That's something I really struggle with. Like kind of finding those areas to size up on and take huge swings at stuff that are going up. Like something that like Kanye South does really good. Pwn Lord does really good. Like just aping tops with size and just like hoping for the best. And that's something I really struggle with because like I think I sent Daddy Tate at like I don't know 2.7, and I think I think Tate himself was running this CTO, and I thought to myself, I was like, wow, this is like kind of crazy price action on this, but I'm like, and it's already, 2.5 million, and I'm pretty typically an always pumper because I hate feeling like, or already pumped kind of guy, because I hate the feeling of buying the top, and that's just really kind of a weak spot of my game. So that's kind of held me back from having any huge wins, but at least that's something I'm trying to work on myself because that's a huge hole in my game. Buying tops of the size and just kind of hoping for the best. So, yeah, sorry, went off track there, but
No, getting huge ones is hard. I'm completely with you. A lot of mine have just been like slowly grinding up. I think I had a couple like big wins on just Solana, but even if like those big wins, I only won big because it was such a big win within like a 30-minute time span. Like Epic Duck and like stuff like
yeah.
that. It was just like super easy and like it moved so quick it was hard for me to paper. But what is I like to ask this amongst ETH traders because it's very hard and I'm just kind of interested. What are some things that you look at to hold a coin?
Um, that's a good question. I think to hold an ETH coin, oh man, I don't know. I feel like I hold everything on ETH because ETH is the chain of just go up slowly over time. And if it doesn't go up slowly over time, it just kind of slowly zeroes out. Whereas Solana, you're forced to make those like super fast rotations. Like someone tweets one thing, Tate releases a coin, and Mother takes a big hit. There's those huge things that kind of swing. Whereas ETH, it's almost just like the land of the slow mooners. And so ETH, I honestly just I'd rather hold everything and round trip it to zero than trying to time tops like that. So not super helpful answer, but like I feel like ETH is a whole different ball game, and ETH you just kind of gotta give the coin some time to breathe and kind of figure out if they're gonna go up or down. Whereas Solana, you kind of know pretty quickly that you gotta be nimble, either cut it or kind of let it ride.
No, I agree with you. Honestly, no, it's an answer. Like it's hard. It
Yep.
really is hard, and like, cause I I do my dictionary charts by day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I will like go back to them, and it's literally like, yeah, it will sit for days, no movement, and just randomly moon up. It's just crazy to look at. And then with Solana, I don't know what tool it is. If someone knows what tool it is, I'll buy it. Please reach out to me. I want it so bad. I do not know what it is. I'm pretty sure it's just private scripts, but I track some people that have these scripts or tool, whatever. There's these tools to where they instantly ape a CA that gets posted on Twitter. Like, I've seen a couple guys turn like a 50 soul buy into like 500 soul within like 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, like if you know somebody's dropping the contract, they'll just turn it on
it's
for
like
that account.
I assume like they have a monitor, and then they have some script to where like it's not even that they're pasting the CA and buy it. No, it insta buys it. I can see it on SoulScan. There's no shot that. So
I would like that.
Please reach out.
Sounds like some custom tech.
I will pay money, please, Lord.
Me too.
Don't gatekeep. I'm begging on my hands and knees, please. Yeah, because like I needed that for Poly, dear Lord. I think I watched him on Poly like closing like 1,000 soul within like 5 minutes. It was gross.
So WooPig, what about like hype launches or like really crowded shit? Like, I don't know, like there's a Borpa token coming up, which is like kind of omni-chain. Obviously had like a whitelisting process and their public overflow type thing going on, but it is on like 6 chains, and you're going to be able to snipe those. Also, like, what about like pre-sales for like this Milady thing? Like, that seemed like a pretty obvious trade in hindsight. I only digested it for like an hour. I regret not sending into it early. But are you like, do you get involved in like really crowded, hyped trades like that, or are you usually just looking for like new deploys that not many people are onto yet?
Yeah, so I try and like going along with kind of staying in my lane. I've found that like those hype launches where everyone has eyes on it, I do not perform well on those. I always make the wrong trade. I do not know what to do in those. So I try and stick to trades that I feel like I have an edge. So like, I guess speaking of like Omnichain, just reminded me of the story that I saw the
Omnicat.
Omnicat, yeah. So I saw that deploy like two days before they went live, and so I was tracking it because I saw that wallet, I saw it deploy on ETH, and I saw that it had like the matching addies, and it breached to 6 different chains with the same amount of ETH. It was like 2 ETH at each place, and it kind of deployed the same contract everywhere. And so kind of watching that, I was like, okay, like this is something cool. Like someone's trying to do something here, but I couldn't find socials, but I was like, okay, the on-chain stuff is kind of, something's cooking here. And so that was one of my biggest wins of 2023, because like just kind of looking for those spots that like, you know, like watching every ETH deploy, watching every new pair, you kind of get caught in the monotony of it. But like whenever you see something like stand out, that really catches your eye, I think that's a good sense that's built up over time. And that was definitely an example of that, because I was like, yeah, something's happening here. And so I would have sniped like, I don't even know how much, probably like at least 10% of the supply on several different chains. But I think I was like working on MetaMask on my phone, and I hadn't updated in a couple months, and it just was like breaking out on me. And I was like too lazy to get out of bed because I still didn't know exactly what it was. So that was a big fumble on my part, being too lazy to get out of bed. But yeah, I think staying away from stuff that is hyped has worked out well for me, because like there's usually not a ton of edge in those. So kind of staying in places that I feel like I have an edge, and kind of looking for stuff that sticks out, I think has been a big key in my success, because I don't like try and overextend myself.
No, that's definitely valid. I have been way too lazy to get out of bed for certain things. I think literally during the Milady cold pre-sale, I was eating dinner, and I was like, it's just Milady. I don't care. I need to get better at that. I need to lock in. But okay, we got to talk about it, because it's just been hurting my mind all week. We got to talk about the Soul Celebrity stuff. I know, Interview, you've had some success. WooPig, have you had any Celeb coin success?
No, I've just been working all of them, buying the wrong ones, missing the runners or fading the runners because I don't want to buy the top. So It's been fun to watch because it's something new. It's not the same cat coins, or this is a different version of Pepe, and everyone's shilling it as the future of finance. So it's at least interesting, kind of breath of fresh air to some extent. But I've just whiffed all of them, so it's been painful at the same time.
I've stayed away for the most part because it was just disgusting watching like the insider trading scam crap going from that guy Sahil that was like launching coins from all these celebs that he had connections to. Obviously, Iggy Azalea went the different route with like a more organic launch from her brother and said basically like "fuck you" to that guy. And then you've got Tate that, yeah, a lot of people packed their bags before he latched on and basically showed that he was part of this coin. Thankfully, I bought that one. I didn't even buy it early. I bought it at like over 20 mil, but I put like some decent size in and I held it for a while. So it worked out. I could have made way more, but I'm looking for other launches. Like today on Twitter, I've been watching like different people get involved. I think like, yeah, it's been kind of gross what's happened with the celeb coins, but I anticipate seeing a lot more because all these people follow Andrew Tate. Like the guy's just so polarizing and they see how insane he's been going on Twitter for the past couple days. So you're going to see more launches. And just today alone, like Dylan Dennis, the idiot MMA boxer guy that just sucks now. Well, MMA boxer, whatever. He fought in boxing and got his ass kicked. Hasn't fought an MMA match in years, but obviously has this villain arc and a lot of engagement on Twitter. He's talking about launching a coin, talking shit to Ansem and Iggy and many other people. But Ryan Garcia teased the coin today. Dan Bilzerian a few days ago said he might launch a coin, might want to get involved. He said the stock market is rigged, but today he basically confirmed that he's going to launch one. He said, give me some more time. I need to sort out the details or something. So he's basically confirmed that he's going to have a coin. What I'm looking for going forward is definitely for more celeb coins. Like they're going to have the volume, they're going to have the attention. Those people are going to talk about their coins, but it's really important for me that I need to like determine like has this been launched in like some type of a fair kind of organic way, like, or is it people that are just very malicious packing their bags behind the coin that are just going to dump it? It depends on how it launches, but I think they're going to keep coming. What I'm hoping to see is like maybe one launches on base in the future later this summer when Jesse Pollock gets back from his wedding crap. But yeah, I think they're going to keep coming.
Yeah, one thing I will say is, I know we talked about celeb coins like a couple weeks ago, and something that has changed from that. I remember we were like, I don't know, Suzu was like, Iggy is like the female Mark Cuban, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, Suzu. You had some issues in the past. You're kind of off the rails sometimes, but dude, she like has been putting in genuine work, and then also Tate has been putting in genuine work, like actually marketing these coins. Obviously, I'm pretty sure the PR managers that are, setting up these coins for these celebs are like, hey, you can either A, go this super quick scammy route, or B, now I'm hoping the opportunity is showing where it's like, hey, if you put in some work, like it may actually go up more in price, which I assume they have side wallets and they're making money from it. The common thing, I don't think they did it on Mother, but like, for the Tate coins was like, oh, he had a bunch of supply. But it's like, I'm pretty sure I could see it being a common thing to where, like the main wallet will hold a bunch of supply that won't be for trading. They'll either burn it or just never sell it. They'll probably have side wallets, but whatever. The normal people buying the coin won't know that. And I'm hoping with the growth we've seen from Mother and the Daddy coin, I'm hoping that celebs will actually genuinely try to make an actual coin and actually run it up rather than just another Sahil scam.
Yeah, I agree. As long as they do it the right way. And I think for whatever reason, maybe the alpha on some of these launches is just following the celebrity on Instagram. Because I think Lil Pump tweeted, or he posted a picture of a Solana head tattoo on Instagram story 5 minutes before that he tweeted it. So I think there was time to fill there. And I think it was Iggy Azalea posted that story saying like, oh, it was like 5 minutes before she confirmed the contract on Twitter. She was saying like, am I your mother or something like that? Just like kind of the subtle hint. So I think that's going to be my play going forward. Like anyone that's kind of suspected to launch a coin, just follow them on Instagram and hit out all notifications on there. We'll see if I can get lucky and front run any of those tweet scrapers that are probably going to make billions of SOL off of it.
Yeah, I think it's a really smart play. I've been doing the same thing, like with Dan. I've been watching his Instagram. I've even been watching his like Ignite brand website. I think it's a really cool way if people launch in that fashion and actually give some type of a fair launch tactic. Yeah, we'll see, man.
Yeah, it's tough to compete against those Twitter scrapers, One tweet.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, WooPig, I just joined WanBot. I waved at you in there. I'm all set up. We're authenticated.
Welcome to the show.
But I think Dan has connections with the Tate Bros, so I'm hoping that should be like a pretty solid deriv. It's just the problem is like, dude, I could see it candling to like 25 mil, like quickly, insanely quickly. Like it'll be something gross.
Yeah, dude, I was talking to somebody last night about this. One of my buddies. Like Andrew Tate is like the pinnacle of what this can look like from a celeb perspective, but like there's not many people that can be bigger. Like if Donald Trump actually launches his own, yeah, that would go insane. I think Elon Musk actually linking onto a coin or launching a coin, that would probably be the biggest ever out of a celeb type coin. I can't think of anybody bigger. I don't know.
Yeah. What happened with the Tate thing, I was like, okay, Tate coin's going to hit. I think it was Friday when I was trading it, there was 2 coins. I'm not going to say the names of the coins because I would be crucified. Yeah. But I was like, oh, there's 2 of them. This is stupid. And I'm like, I just can't deal with this. And then, kind of like the main runner, the one that he like kind of endorsed, like came on Saturday. I was at a freaking little like bachelor party, so I was not looking at my phone during crypto. I was absolutely getting smoked at cornhole. So, and crushing a lot of beer. So I missed that. But I mean, it was hard to deal with like the 2 different ones. So I couldn't really make a decision.
Yeah. That was kind of like the mother situation too. That there's kind of 2 coins, the rumored one, and then the Sahil scam. And I just played it horrible. Like I was watching Jingtao's FBI analysis on it.
Poor Jing, man.
Yeah.
Dude, that was unreal to watch. I feel really bad about that.
Because
he nailed that shit.
Yeah, absolutely, he put so many people on. So that was tough to watch, but yeah.
Dude subscribed to her OnlyFans and went through every single image, scraped all images ever posted by her anywhere, Instagram, the internet. He was like, yeah, this has to be it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That was sad. That was sad for my bro.
I think we could probably start to wrap up pretty soon, but I guess like before we do that, I don't know, like is there anything specific you're looking forward to, WooPig, in the market, or like anything that we haven't talked about that you'd like to get out there for people to hear?
Oh man. Not looking forward to anything. Just kind of playing coins as they come. And I think the best thing that you can do for yourself in crypto is just put time in. Because a lot of it, I feel like you can have all the data in front of you. You can, kind of see all this information coming at you, but, up to you. You have to make the decision yourself to buy and sell. And so, like, kind of getting your feet wet and honing your skills yourself that, like, no one can teach you when to buy and sell. No one can teach you how to let it ride, how to size correctly, all of those things. You kind of just got to figure out for yourself. So I think it's just important to, even if you're doing it at a small percentage of your bankroll just to learn, I think it's just important to just get out there and do it because, there's no markets like this. There's no other place with opportunities like this. Like, you're not going to be getting the same returns and having the same type of fun and stuff, just punting GME options, YOLOs with everyone on Wall Street bets. So I think just, get your feet in the game and keep your head down and keep grinding. So, that's it. All I can say about that.
Yeah, man, there's no better way to learn than actually having your own money at risk. I was on these spaces earlier that I got invited to, like, I think the topic was like around meme coins, and they kept asking me questions around like trading and whatnot. And I always, like, even with this pod and in general, like, I always think about the people out there that are trading with a smaller portfolio that are trying to make it. I think, like, one, if you're listening to this podcast, or I said this in the space earlier, if you're even listening to this, like, your attention's in the right place. Like, you're seeing big banks launch ETFs and get exposed to crypto. Like, the government and politics are all talking about it. Joe Biden was against crypto, and now he's trying to get involved. Like, this is definitely disrupting the global financial system, and it's not just about crypto. I mean, it's about tokenization of assets. You see, like, the RWA stuff happening. Like, it's going to impact the world. So spend your time in this space and keep doing it. Even if you take a big loss, don't get discouraged. You have to keep going because you're going to keep learning. Losses are for learning. Failures are for learning. Just keep going in this space, and you're going to learn, and eventually you're going to start to win a lot.
Yeah, look, if you're listening to this podcast, you're in the right spot. You're talking to people that, genuinely trade all day. We sit in our little cave, our little dungeon, and sit on this computer all day. And we've had success. And, something when I started out trading was just learning from people that were more successful than me. I mean, most of that started out for me just like in Hideout, just kind of talking to a couple of people I won't mention. There's too many of them to mention right now. But it's just locking in, having experience. You got to lose sometimes to win. It's just it's part of the requirements to making it in this space.
I mean, honestly, just doing this podcast lets us talk to people like you, WooPig and Pone Lord and Easy Eats, the other people that we've had as guests, and I think it helps us kind of stay in the right headspace. We learn a lot from you guys, and yeah, man, thank you so much for coming on the pod. It's been awesome.
Yeah, no problem at all. It always kind of surprised me because I never really set out to like have a following or everything. So it always surprises me that like someone is somewhat interested in what I say because I just kind of click buttons all day. I don't think I'm particularly good at it or special or anything.
You're pretty good, dude.
I click the same buttons as everyone else. It's kind of weird feeling that someone wants to hear what I say. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
I mean, like you always have a following, but like it's also just like we're trying to get people on that work, that actually put in the work into the space. Yeah. I don't know. We could have someone on here that maybe literally has like 10 followers, but like we see them like just putting in the work and kind of know what they're doing. So it's been really great having you on. Really, really great to connect with you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I think that will be the end for this episode. Peace.
Peace.